Hey up, and welcome to Matt's Mindful Meals. We've come up today into the hills because we're at the middle of a storm Eunice, and earlier on this week we had storm Dudley. Now the area of Scotland that I'm living in, which is the north of Scotland, the weather isn't actually as bad as the rest of the UK. We're getting away with quite light winds of about 40 miles an hour, whereas the rest of the UK are sometimes now getting 90 odd miles an hour, which isn't great. So this week I received the new Freestyle modular stove from Firebox to try out. So today is going to be the first time I'm going to do a real cook with that. Some of you will have seen me unbox and getting things, but today I'm going to crack on and cook some sloppy joe that people have asked for. I've not eaten it for about 20 odd years, like one of the times when I was out in the Gulf. Anyway, so I'll back to you in a minute and we'll find somewhere where we can cook. See you in a bit. Hey up, well, I'm almost set up, but I'm cooking sloppy joe today, which is, as I say, something we don't normally have, but it's not going to be the way the Americans have it, because you tend to have it in America quite a lot sweeter than what we have it. So ours is more like a savoury, tomatoey mince dish with quite a lot of chilli in it. Anyway, I'm going to crack on and show you the Firebox Freestyle system I'm going to use today. Now you've seen me doing the unboxing. I'll just take my gloves off. So today I'm going to use both of them, but I'm going to be taking a couple of panels out. So in the instructions that you'll get with it, okay, the one I'm going to be using is the Fire Pit 6, because I think that's going to be around about the right size to put my 10-inch pan on, because I want to get the whole pan hot. Normally I'd use my G2, but I'm going to try this today, so we'll see how it goes. I'll get a little fire grate that will go underneath it. Both of the pans. I think I might need the two big pins. So set that to one side, make myself some room. So with the nanos, you can use the tin as the base for it, which protects everything, which I'm going to use for today. So it's going to go into that. But because this is a nice wooden table and I've never used it before, I'm going to put another bit of protection over the bottom of here. So I'll use my old metal table because I don't want to cause any damage, and I hope none of you do. Dave's on his way, so he won't be too long. So if I put this on there and that on top, I'm now quite content. I'm not going to cause any damage to the table. So I'll get these open. Yeah, Dave, come sit down.
Hey up.
So here we go. So the two stoves.
Hey guys.
Ooh. So this one's a little bit dark because I used it to cook. Well, not cook. I made a brew with it last night. So as you see here, you get a small grill, a larger grill, the elastic band to keep it all together with. And you get 4 small fire sticks. But I don't think I'll be needing the small grills today because I'm going to go for the big thing. So I'll just put the fire sticks to one side because they always come in handy. Pop that over there. And then we'll get the second one out. Now, the instructions that you've seen, I've put them away because they made of cardboard, and with it being so wet, I don't want to get them to go funny. So I'm going to join these two together and turn them into the fire pit 6. I've got the same in this setup. Pop it over there. Put the rubber band. The big lumps of snow keep falling off the trees. It's like being hit with a snowball. Okay, so to make the fire pit 6, you need to remove some of the pins. So you need to remove completely panel 1. So you take the 2 pins out, so 1 pin out, another pin out, so the 2 panel ones are the ones with a single dot on. Get rid of those. Now we need to connect these together. So I found that if you put them on top of each other and keep them closed, you find it a little bit easier. So put that pin through there. Oh, it is cold. So that pin's in. That pin's in. Put those away there so they're nice and safe. Now magic, this will now join to make a 6th one. How cool is that? So I'll pop it into my little tray. Okay. So with some of these fire sticks, I'll use these ones. Because I want to put the grate on, so that I can put the wood on top of the grate. Then we can get this lit, and then I can chat you through my ingredients. Now, I'm going to use these larger ones as well, because it comes with 2 massive ones, just in case it needs a bit more stability. Don't think it does, but playing with this for the first time. Okay, so hopefully done. So get some wood on the go. Now, as I say, it's the first time I've done it this way. So we can see how it goes. Right then, fire starter. Is over there. Everything's that little bit harder with really cold hands. I don't know what temperature do you think it is? About 4, about 2?
If that. Yeah, if that. Even colder when you get hit by snow.
It's gone out. Here we go. Pull a little bit more out. There we have it. Took a bit longer than normal, must be the weather. Anyway, let's get the fire off and I'll chat to you about what we've got here. So I put some photographs in earlier on because I didn't want to spend too long out chopping stuff up because the weather's awful. You can see everything's getting wet already. Should have really bought a tarp with us. So in here, I've got some beef mince or ground beef. Save a little bit of time, I've already chopped up the onions and the bell peppers or Capiscum peppers, whatever you call them, wherever you're from. What I am going to do is I'm going to chop up the chilies. Inside this one I've got half a tin of tin tomatoes. Now I've done a video in the past where I've used tin tomatoes and it went absolutely mental and nearly burnt me. But I've learned from that mistake. So pop these to one side. Fire's going nice now. Now the knife I'm going to use is my new knife that I also got from Firebox stove. These come in at about $40. I think it's $39.99, which for the UK it works out probably about just under 50 quid. However, it's a chef's knife, so it's foldable and it's got really heavy hand, like everything that you get from Firebox stove. Really well made. I think this one isn't any good for chopping down trees or battening down wood. It's pure and simply, I think, for the chef's knife. Now this is going to be the first thing I've ever chopped up with it. I'm going to chop up these two chilies, so we'll see how it goes. Well, it's super sharp from the get-go, so I'll chop this chili up. Wow, it's razor sharp, and the weight of it's quite nice. And the thing with chef's knives, sometimes you cut and they don't go straight down. They seem to go off at an angle, but this is going straight down, so you've got quite a lot of control over it. So I'm happy with that. Now we're going to go for like super hot. I think so.
Standard mat then. Yeah.
There's no point. You don't go in halfway, do you? Go for it. Fire's coming up nice now. Bit of chili there for the birds. And obviously, I won't be putting any of the seeds in. Yes, I will. All of them. Okay, so pop that one to the side. Now for the green chili, because there's no colour bias on this channel. This is going to be plenty hot enough. One thing I haven't tried though is to see how the pan fits, but going by my eyesight, it looks as though it's going to be fine. So this is going to be super hot. Promised my youngest daughter Grace that if there was any left, I would take her some home in one of these tubs. Something tells me that with that much chili, she ain't going to be wanting any. Okay, so get me fry pan. Fits on like a dream. My beautiful assistant's helping me. So a little bit of oil. Let that get a little bit hotter, and then we'll get the veg in. Ooh, time for a swig of tea. Yeah, so this storm that we've got, I think it's in for the rest of the weekend. I don't know if have you seen any of these big things that are falling on us? Nice mug of tea. A bit foul then. So let's get the onions in. I don't know if you heard that, but it's sizzling a little bit. But yeah, the rest of the country are on the highest level of a weather warning, which is a level red, which is they are saying that there's a potential of loss of life due to this. Slide that one back in there. So that's not a good situation to be in. So fingers crossed for everybody else. That one hit me on the head. So we'll give this a bit of a stir. We need to get these nice and soft. And the beauty with this way is with there being no grill on the top, you can just put more wood straight on top of that just to keep the fire going. So it's getting a nice bit of heat on it now. yeah, so I'm impressed with this stove. It's nice and sturdy. Be great for going on the beach as well because it's got that tin on the bottom. Really good. Oh yeah. So we'll let them cook off a little bit. So yeah, this week, as you know, I've been having problems with COVID for, well, you've known for ages. Yeah. And it's been gradually getting worse. And probably my worst day while it was New Year. I was out walking and I couldn't get my breath at all. And I ended up on my hands and knees and holding on to my wife. And she was really worried. Anyway, that was a one-off that it was that bad. But as you know, a few weeks ago, through no fault of our own, because we always make sure that we wear masks, clean our hands, and try and stay away from as many people that we're not aware of as much as possible. But for somehow, because the kids are all back at school, I ended up picking up COVID again. And the symptoms I had that time were worse than I had the first time, but fingers crossed it's not affected my lungs. So we can see I've got more brain fog definitely, and the words are getting mixed up, but fingers crossed it's not been too bad. But the good news is that I've been to see the military doctors again this week, and I've now finally got my place in the rehabilitation centre. So I need to go into the hospital where we've got our specialist physios and lung doctors and viral doctors, and they're going to basically get me on the road to recovery so I can get back and do my real job. So that's enough about that, because I'm trying to put it all behind me. I'll give these onions another stir. So these are getting a bit of colour on them now, and they're softening up. Now, Sloppy Joe, for people who've never had anything like it before, it's like a savoury mince in a tomatoey kind of gravy sauce that you have on a burger roll instead of a burger. So it's like an unformed burger. Really messy, but they do taste really good. So you can see that the onions and the peppers are now nice and soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little bit of chilli in. Lots of chilli. Now I need to get those nice and soft as well. I might have to add a little bit more oil in a little bit, but we'll see. So you're back. I've now got the chilies in. That's getting nice and soft. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the beef in with some snow. And I'll break that down. I did think about doing a vegetarian version of this morning with corn mince or whatever you fancy, because sometimes one of my daughters, she isn't a vegetarian but she prefers to go meat free for a week or two. I sometimes have some stuff with her, but genuinely I do prefer having a bit of meat with my meals. I just like the taste of it. So we'll get this going, and then we've got a few other bits and pieces. Now I've got some cayenne pepper, which will give it another bit of a kick if it needs one already, and some smoked paprika. Now the memories I have of my original try of Sloppy Joe, it was quite smoky. Now one of the things I've learnt is put a little bit of barbecue sauce in there. Not too much, because as I say, in Britain we don't like things that go very, 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 very sweet. Keep hiding behind all of the smoke. So what I've got a little bit of my favourite barbecue sauce, which is like Famous Dave's. It's not his. Famous Dave, he's just Dave. But this stuff's really good. But I think I've not seen it for sale in the UK, so I tend to steal some off my friend's wife, Kimberly, but she's from Ohio. So yeah, they get quite a lot of American stuff sent over to them, or pick it up when they nip over into mainland Europe. But hopefully they're going to bring me a load more stuff back, because they are coming over to America for a month in May. So I'm after a new tent. They don't know that yet, so when they watch this video they'll find out that they're going to be bringing me a tent back from America. And I've just realised I've also dropped myself in trouble with the wife, because I haven't told her I'm having this tent yet either. Sorry sorry, sweetheart. Anyway, so the meat's starting to get brown, so I'm going to bung all of this barbecue sauce in. Now, as I say, this is Famous Dave's, and although it's sweet, it's quite vinegary and it's just really, really nice. You ever smell that? Smell that?
Yes.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
Nice.
So pop that to one side and give this a stir in. Now, what you've got to be careful with when you're making sloppy joe is don't make it too wet, because as I say, it has to go onto your baps. So give this a stir through. I actually now I'm sort of regretting putting so much chilli in, because I think it's going to really bring me cough on. Fire's come up really good now, so yeah, I think this is going to be one of my favourite ways of using this stove. You can turn it into one with leaving those two panels in, so it's slightly bigger and makes a bigger square. And that's the Firebox 8, but that's going to be like for like a fire pit. So like say if you get a few of you around the campsite, you can have like a controlled fire. So that'd be quite cool, so we'll give that a shot later on the year. Okay. Time to add in the tomatoes. Stand well back, everyone. Remember that one? Really don't want to blow my eyebrows off, but there's no risk of that one. This is just, so that's basically the final bit of the fluid that I'm adding, because you don't want it to go too runny, because as I say, you serve it on baps. So I'll give this a stir in. Now I know at home when you do this you'll boil it down for hours and hours and hours. However, me and Dave don't really want to die in a snowstorm, so we're not going to cook it for too long. We're getting pelted by all the snow falling off the trees. So you've seen this trick before, so I'm going to pop that on there for a minute or two. So cayenne pepper and smoked paprika. Pop a bit of that in there. Quick sip of my tea. Yeah. I'm not running out of ideas of things to cook. However, I'd like to know what you want to see me cook. Like this one was asked for by somebody over in America, so I'm doing that. But if you've got anything you'd really like to see, give me a shout and I'll see if I can do my version of it over here. And when I mean my version of it, that means that when I do it, don't want to hear someone saying, oh, well, you shouldn't really put that in. If I want to taste something in my food, I think it's only fair that I'm allowed to put what I want in my food. So no arguing. This is hot already. Gloves back on, covered in snow. It won't be long until we get to try it. Give it another stir. Now these pans are really well seasoned now. Sometimes it can take a while for them to become brilliantly seasoned, but nothing sticks on these anymore. And when I go to clean them out, I get them wet and give them a rub off with a soft sponge. Take off anything that if any of the caramelization that's on there, but I don't use any detergents or anything anymore. When it gets hot, if there's anything left on that shouldn't be there, like a little bit of bacteria or something, which there won't be because you've washed it off, but the heat would kill anything off anyway. Anyway, so which one's this one? Smoked paprika. So that's going to get the smokiness and a bit of heat. It's bright red. That's always a good sign, isn't it? Cayenne pepper. Oh, that's the really small size. Another one. This one's coming out a little bit slower. It's going to thaw everything out, this is. So we'll stir this up. You want to cook that powder through. Right then, as fast as the bread, Dave. So we're almost there. So some people will probably go mad at this, but this is what I like doing. As I said, to my sloppy Joe. Bit of cheese. Now, I don't like having really nice cheddar cheese or a proper cheese on this. It's got to be this space cheese. You know, the stuff that's probably never ever seen a cow. I don't know why. Made of plasticine or something. But to me, it just works. So you know you're eating something that's not 100% healthy. But yeah. Put them in the bin. A few seconds on that. Shouldn't take much more than that. Right then, I'm going to bring it to show you. So, we've just had our first Sloppy Joe cooked on the Freestyle Firebox. And so we're going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but we also do the score out of 10. So you go first. Well, what do you reckon? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Easy.
Thumb up all the time. That is really good.
Out of 10.
9.5, 9.8.
Yeah.
Good.
Big
High
thumbs,
nines.
big thumbs up from me. Definitely 9. And the chili amount was just right. Nice
Absolutely.
and warming. But I think the winner overall for it is space cheese. You can't beat that cheese that just will never ever go off. Anyway, we're going to get all packed up and get out of this snow. And I'll catch you a bit later. Take care. And remember, if you like this, give it a like. And subscribe if you haven't already. Because the more subscribers I get, the more people get out and see what we get up to. So take care. And I'll speak to you next time. Ta-ra!